The only people that I see that are prepared for the next 5,000 years is China. That's it.
Mm,
Like somebody said something interesting. They was like, China is China because it's nothing but Chinese people there. Here in places like America, where it's mixed, it's diverse, it's different cultures, it's different ideologies, it's different races, people are always going to have these differences that we know in Islam. These differences are supposed to be celebrated. These
yeah,
differences are supposed to serve as a basis for us to learn more about one another. But what ends up happening is bad actors, bad energy, so many different things get in between that, and then these differences get exploited. And so you can't get as much done in an effective way because the hierarchy for which you're creating the society on is stratified on race, color, religion, sex, all these other isms to divide people. So now
yeah.
you can keep the people fighting against each other while you rob them blind. You see?
Mm,
So the problem is that uh it's going to take the people in general just saying, look, this is how we want to operate and put the pressure on each other, because whether you look at the person in the government or the person that's not, they're just people, man. They're just
yeah,
people
exactly.
creating little systems, little organizations, papers to say they this, they convince another group of people to agree with them. It's just humans doing human stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're
So yeah.
portraying like the value. I agree. I think, well, for China, so two things. The China, I think, is set for 5,000 years. I think it's because the way they've constructed, and you see this now with the way Trump is trying to nationalize America, right? They're trying to have it so the people in power, politics takes precedence over the corporation. Whereas in America, it seems like there's an
Yeah.
opposite, right? Where like
Yep.
the corporates, the technocrats are the ones that are dictating,
Mhm.
they're lobbying, and then you have outside influence as well within Israel. But I think China, because they have leadership in order and they prioritize the power structure over and you see what happened with the founder of Alibaba.
Mhm. Right, right,
He
right.
so that I think is what aligns you to focus on vision and
Mhm.
then cooperatively build a society that then fuels that vision. And whereas in America, there's so many, like you said, it's very divisive on every level, and that's what and it's falling apart as we speak. But another thing on the micro are individuals that do a great job, like a lot of podcasters and influencers. And the reason why I feel so compelled to make this type of podcast is because I identify with like an elitist mentality. I identify with like the billionaires and the technocrats and the globalists. I understand it, especially with technology. It almost seems inevitable. It seems like you should leverage all of this to centralize the world, to create this utopia that then is in the best interest of the people. But as we know, that isn't always the case. And so my soul is tied to like the common person, right? Like I
Mhm.
understand the everyday struggles. We've lived
Mhm.
it, we've been through it. And so trying to bridge that gap of like those conversations that aren't being had in a productive manner, in a way that isn't just vilifying or casting judgment and not providing any other alternative. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you listen to brilliant minds like Whitney Webb, Ian Carroll, Dave Smith. They all are very good at talking about the problem. They're all good at breaking it down, saying this is the issue, but they don't offer solutions. And it just creates more fear. And the fear only feeds the system. So you're almost like being a part of the monster, right? Like you're not actually productively contributing to the solution. And nobody
Mhm.
wants to talk about that. And so
Mhm.
for me, that's where I find like distaste for that type of content because energy is everything. Like
Mhm.
if you're not feeding hope, optimism, I don't care what you're putting out there. I don't care what you're saying. Like you're following the same blueprint as the news because that's all the news is set to do is cause division, chaos, confusion, right? And then the elites in the background just do their thing because there's no point in trying to convince you. At that point, it's like it's counterproductive. Like I'd rather just I create a silo for myself, build, than try to convince people, well, this is in your best interest, right? So those relationships, I think, those dynamics is what's really just creating this tension, and then it's just gonna boil over. And bro, America's not looking good right now. I
No,
mean,
hundred
it's
percent.
it's very concerning.